The room stayed frozen. Because Park Min-jae was no longer dying. He was awake. Weak, pale, still recovering, but awake enough for everyone there to remember exactly who he was. Power had returned to the room. And power, in his hands, changed everything. Don't scroll now, because the man who returned from death just chose one woman over everyone in the room. Like, subscribe, and stay with Afro-Korean Story Vault, because what starts as gratitude is about to become something far more dangerous. His fingers remained wrapped around Jasmine's hand. Not strongly, not possessively, but with enough certainty that no one misunderstood what it meant. She tried once more to ease her hand free. His grip tightened again. No. The word came low and controlled, stronger than before. The guards straightened instantly. Even the doctor stopped moving. Because a man like min-jae did not need volume to be obeyed. He only needed to speak. The pacing guard stepped forward first, careful now, measuring every word. Sir, you need rest. Your condition is unstable. Min-jae didn't look at him. His gaze remained fixed on Jasmine. And yet, he said quietly, I'm speaking. The guard fell silent. That answer had settled the matter. Jasmine stood beside the bed, tension locked in her shoulders. Her hospital cleaner uniform was neat, bright blue under the room lights. But the calm she had worn earlier was beginning to crack beneath the weight of what this had become. She had stepped forward because someone was dying. She had not stepped forward to be noticed by dangerous men. She had not stepped forward to become part of whatever this world was. But it was too late for that now. The doctor cleared his throat and adjusted the four-line, trying to reclaim some authority. Mr. Park, your vitals are improving, but you need immediate observation. Stress is not advised. Min-jae turned his head slowly. The movement alone made everyone tense. Then don't stress me. The doctor said nothing after that. Because even medicine had limits. And one of them was arguing with men like him. Min-jae looked back at Jasmine. What is your name? The room listened. Every person there knew the question mattered. She swallowed once. Jasmine. He repeated it quietly, like testing how it sounded. Jasmine. Then he closed his eyes for a second, not sleeping, thinking. When they opened again, something in them had sharpened. You knew I wouldn't die. It wasn't a question. Jasmine shook her head gently. No. Then why did you speak like you did? She hesitated. Because the truth sounded foolish in rooms like this. I believed you still had days left. A few guards exchanged glances. One scoffed under his breath. Another looked uneasy. But min-jae did neither. He studied her as if the answer mattered more than any report in the room. And if you were wrong, Jasmine met his gaze. Then I would still rather speak life than stand quietly beside death. That line hit the room harder than anyone expected. Even the pacing guard looked away for a second. Because courage sounded different when it came from someone with no power. Min-jae's fingers loosened slightly around her hand, but did not let go. The calm guard stepped closer now. He was the one who had spoken least and observed most. Sir, we need to know who she is. Min-jae answered without looking at him. So do I. The guard nodded once. That meant orders had been understood. Jasmine felt it immediately. The room had changed again. They were no longer deciding whether she mattered. They were deciding what to do with her. She pulled her hand back once more. This time min-jae let go, but only because he chose to. She stepped back half a pace. The distance should have felt safer. It didn't. Min-jae watched her carefully. Why were you in this room? I work here. That answers where, he said. Not why. She glanced at the mop bucket still standing in the corner like evidence from another life. I was cleaning. No, he said calmly. Why did you stay? The room became still again. Because that was the real question. Why had she stayed? Why had she cared? Why had she spoken? Jasmine looked at him, then at the machines, then back again. Because everyone else had already left you in their minds. Even the nurse froze. The truth of it was too clean, too sharp. The doctor had given up. The guards had prepared. The room had accepted the ending. Only she had refused it. Min-jae leaned back slightly against the bed. Weak, but thinking. You talk dangerously. I clean floors, she replied softly. Not egos. The younger guard almost laughed before catching himself. The calm guard did not react outwardly, but his eyes moved. Min-jae, however, smiled. Real. And somehow that was more unsettling than his anger could have been. Because men like him did not smile often. And certainly not in rooms like this. The pacing guard stepped forward again. Sir, with respect, she needs to be removed while medical staff continue treatment. Min-jae's expression disappeared. No, sir. No. Stronger this time. The guard stopped immediately. Min-jae looked at Jasmine again. She stays. That order changed everything. The nurse looked confused. The doctor looked frustrated. The guards looked suspicious. And Jasmine looked trapped. I need to go back to work, she said quietly. No. I have duties. You have questions, he replied. That is not my problem. It became your problem, he said, when you changed this room. Silence followed, because no one could deny it. Whatever had happened, it had happened after she spoke. The calm guard stepped toward Jasmine now, respectful but firm. Please wait outside. Min-jae's voice cut in immediately. She waits where I can see her. The guard stopped. That was the final word. Jasmine's heartbeat quickened. This was no longer kindness. No longer gratitude. This was control. And she understood enough about powerful men to know control often arrived wearing polite clothes. The doctor finally straightened. I need everyone except essential personnel out. Min-jae turned his head. You are essential? The doctor hesitated. The younger guard looked down to hide a reaction. The doctor adjusted his glasses. I'm trying to keep you alive. Min-jae's eyes moved briefly toward Jasmine. She's doing well enough. No one spoke after that, because no one knew how. The machine beside the bed continued its steady rhythm now. Beep, beep, beep. Life. Clear life. And every sound reminded them that the impossible had happened in front of witnesses. Outside the room, footsteps moved fast in the corridor. Orders were already spreading. Park Min-jae survived. The city would hear soon. Enemies would hear sooner. Inside the room, the comm guard's phone vibrated. He checked the screen once. His expression changed. Dangerously little. He stepped closer to the bed. Sir. What? News is moving. Min-jae's eyes sharpened. How far? Too fast. That meant leaks. That meant rivals. That meant someone had already spoken. The room suddenly felt smaller. Min-jae looked at Jasmine, then at his men, then back again. Lock this floor down. The guards moved instantly. No one in. No one out. Jasmine stepped back. What does that mean? The comm guard answered without softness. It means, for now, you're not leaving either. And in that moment Jasmine realized the truth. Saving a dangerous man had not placed her beside power. It had placed her inside it. As security doors began sealing across the hospital floor, Min-jae's eyes stayed on Jasmine. Then he said the one thing no one expected. Bring me her file. And if there isn't one, his voice turned cold. Find out why. Her background was checked. Then something impossible appeared. The room changed the moment the order was given. No one questioned it. Because when Park Min-jae spoke, people moved first and understood later. The comm guard nodded once and stepped toward the door. I'll handle it. Min-jae's eyes never left Jasmine. Personally. Yes, sir. The guard exited immediately. The remaining men spread through the room in silence, repositioning themselves near doors, windows, and corners with practiced efficiency. No wasted motion. No visible panic. But the tension in the room had changed. Before, they were protecting a dying man. Now, they were protecting a living one. And that was far more dangerous. Jasmine stood near the wall beside the cleaning cart she had abandoned when all of this began. The bright blue uniform that marked her as invisible only an hour ago now felt like a target. She folded her arms lightly, trying to steady herself. I need to go home. Min-jae responded without hesitation. No, that wasn't a request. His expression barely changed. It became one. The younger guard glanced away, hiding the smallest reaction. Jasmine stared at Min-jae. You can't keep me here. I can't, he said calmly. The room knew he was telling the truth. She hated that more than anything. The doctor stepped in, eager for safer ground. Mr. Park, elevated stress is not ideal for recovery. Min-jae turned his head slightly, then stopped creating it. The doctor went quiet again. Across the hall, doors clicked shut one after another as the security lockdown completed. Metal. Electronic locks. Controlled access. Jasmine heard each sound clearly. Every click felt like a reminder. You are not free. Minutes later, the comm guard returned. His name, she would soon learn, was Kang Dae-hyun. Tall, composed, impossible to read. He carried a tablet in one hand. There's an issue. Min-jae's gaze sharpened. Speak. We searched hospital records first. And she exists. Jasmine exhaled softly. At least something normal remained. Dae-hyun continued. Cleaner contract worker. 6 months employed through third-party staffing. That sounded ordinary. Too ordinary. Min-jae sensed it immediately. You said there was an issue. Dae-hyun's eyes flicked once toward Jasmine, then back. The issue starts before 6 months. He tapped the screen. No tax history for the last 3 years. The younger guard frowned. That's possible. Dae-hyun continued. No school records in Seoul. No prior employment history in Korea. No rental contracts under her name before current address. Jasmine's brows pulled together. That's wrong. Dae-hyun didn't react. It gets worse. He turned the tablet toward Min-jae. We ran immigration records. The room listened harder. No entry stamp. Even the doctor looked up. What? Dae-hyun's tone remained flat. No legal arrival into South Korea under Jasmine's name. No visa issuance. No airport entry. No seaport processing. Nothing. The room became still. Jasmine stared at him. That's impossible. Dae-hyun met her eyes for the first time. That is exactly the word I was about to use. Min-jae said nothing, which was always more dangerous than anger. Jasmine stepped forward. I came here 2 years ago. How? Dae-hyun asked. Plane. From where? She hesitated. Ghana. He looked back to the tablet. There is no record. I'm telling you I came. I'm telling you the system says you didn't. The younger guard muttered under his breath. Ghost. Jasmine heard it. No. But even she sounded less certain now. Min-jae watched every reaction carefully. Not just her words. Her confusion. Her breathing. The flicker of fear she was trying to hide. You didn't know? He said quietly. Jasmine turned to him. Know what? That you don't officially exist here. The words landed brutally. Because something inside her recognized the possibility before her mind accepted it. Dae-hyun scrolled further. There's more. No one liked hearing that now. He placed the tablet on a side table. Her current apartment lease is paid in cash. Jasmine blinked. I pay monthly. To whom? She answered immediately. Mr. Cho. Landlord. Dae-hyun's expression remained calm. There is no registered property owner named Cho at that address. The nurse stepped back slightly. The doctor muttered, What is this? Min-jae answered without looking at him. A lie. Jasmine's breathing changed. No longer steady. What are you saying? I'm saying, Min-jae replied. Someone built a life around you. She shook her head. No. But memories were already moving. Cash rent. No receipts. Temporary jobs. No questions asked. Always moved quickly. Always informal. Things she had accepted because survival didn't leave room for inspection. Dae-hyun continued. The staffing company that hired her dissolved last month. That's normal, Jasmine said quickly. Companies close. It was created 8 months ago, with only 1 employee placed. Now the room felt colder. The younger guard stared openly. You. Jasmine's mouth parted, but no words came, because she had no answer. Min-jae leaned back slightly, despite the pain visible in the movement. Who brought you here? I brought myself. No, he said softly. Who arranged it? I don't know what you mean. You will. Dae-hyun's phone vibrated. He answered immediately, listened, then lowered it. Another rare shift in expression. What now? Min-jae asked. The apartment was checked. Jasmine's heart jumped. What apartment? Yours. I didn't authorize. No one asked, Min-jae said. Dae-hyun continued. It was empty. I was at work. Not empty because you were at work. He looked directly at her. Empty because someone cleaned it out. The words hit harder than any shout. Jasmine stepped back. No. No clothes. No papers. No photographs. No personal items. That's impossible. Neighbors say movers came an hour ago. An hour ago. Right when the hospital locked down. Right when Min-jae woke up. Right when attention turned to her. Jasmine's knees nearly weakened. Someone had known. Someone had acted fast. Someone had erased her life. The mop bucket beside her suddenly felt like the only object that still proved she had existed this morning. Min-jae's voice dropped lower. Now do you understand why you're not leaving? She looked at him, shaken. You think I did this? No. He paused. I think someone did it because of you. The room absorbed that. Different danger now. Not superstition. Not miracle. Planning. A hidden hand moving before anyone else could. Dae-hyun spoke again. One more thing. No one wanted more. He turned the tablet screen toward Min-jae. A photograph. Black and white. Old. Worn edges. The younger guard moved closer. What is that? Dae-hyun answered. Archive image from a private file connected to your father's estate. Min-jae's eyes narrowed. On the screen stood a younger version of his father. Beside him, a little black girl, about 8 years old. Same eyes, same face shape, same unmistakable features. Jasmine, or someone who looked exactly like her. The room forgot how to breathe. Jasmine stared at the screen, then whispered the only truth she had left. I've never seen that picture before. Min-jae slowly lifted his eyes from the screen to Jasmine, then said quietly, if that's you. A pause. Then you were in my life long before today. The room stayed silent after the photograph. No one rushed to explain it. No one could. Jasmine stood frozen, her eyes locked on the old image like staring longer might force memory to appear. It didn't. Min-jae watched her carefully. Not with softness. Not with suspicion. With calculation. Because whether she was lying or not no longer mattered as much as one fact. Someone had connected her to his past. And people only hid things like that for a reason. Daehyun's phone rang again. This time he answered before the second vibration. He listened. His face hardened by degrees. Then he ended the call. Sir. Min-jae didn't look away from Jasmine. Say it. The news is everywhere now. How far? Private networks first. Then street channels. Then upper circles. That meant one thing. The underworld knew. The younger guard cursed under his breath. They moved fast. They were waiting, Daehyun replied. Min-jae's expression darkened. Of course they were. Predators watched closely when kings bled. And now the king had opened his eyes. That changed markets. Territories. Alliances. Revenge plans. Everything. The doctor stepped back from the bed, suddenly aware he was standing in a room where medical recovery had become the least dangerous issue. I think I should leave you all too. No one leaves, Min-jae said. The doctor stopped immediately. Jasmine almost laughed from sheer disbelief. Even fear had become routine inside this room. Daehyun's phone lit again with a message. He checked it and spoke lower this time. Seo Hyunwoo's people were seen outside the East Wing. The room tightened instantly. Even Jasmine felt it. That name meant something. The younger guard's jaw locked. They came already? They never went far, Daehyun replied. Min-jae leaned slightly forward despite the pain in his body. Numbers. Unknown. At least 6 visible. The younger guard moved toward the door. Let me clear them. No. Min-jae's voice cut cleanly. They want movement. Don't give it to them. Jasmine looked between them. Who is Seo Hyunwoo? No one answered. Min-jae did after a pause. A man who smiles while measuring coffins. That was enough. The nurse swallowed audibly. Daehyun added. He controlled half the ports before your boss took them. Took? Jasmine asked. Min-jae's eyes met hers. 1. The word carried blood in it. Before anyone could speak again, alarms chirped softly from the hallway security panel. One of the guards checked the monitor feed near the door. They're inside the floor. The doctor's face drained. How? Daehyun replied without emotion. Money opens many doors. Min-jae looked at Jasmine, then at his men. Move her. She stared. What? The younger guard was already approaching. Come with me. No. He didn't stop walking. Jasmine stepped back sharply. I'm not going anywhere with strangers carrying guns. You already are, he said. Min-jae's voice stopped him. Carefully. The younger guard exhaled through his nose. Sir, with respect, they came because of you. Min-jae's eyes turned cold. No. They came because of her. The room froze again. Jasmine felt every gaze land on her. That's insane. Daehyun shook his head slightly. No. Efficient. He gestured toward the old photograph still glowing on the tablet. Unknown woman tied to your past appears the same night you return from death. Min-jae finished the thought. My enemies won't ignore that. The hallway outside erupted with running footsteps. Then shouting. Then a heavy crash. The nurse gasped. The doctor backed against the wall. Daehyun pulled his weapon smoothly. The younger guard did the same. Jasmine's pulse thundered. This is a hospital. No, Min-jae said quietly. Tonight it's a battlefield. The door burst inward halfway, caught by the internal lock. Metal screamed. Someone was trying to force entry. Another slam. The hinges shuddered. Daehyun moved to one side of the frame. The younger guard to the other. Take him out the rear route, the younger guard said. Min-jae didn't move. I'm not being carried. You were dead an hour ago, the guard snapped. And you're still speaking carelessly. Even now. Even here. He was still him. Another impact shook the door. Jasmine looked around wildly. There has to be security. There is, Daehyun said. Some of them are outside trying to kill us. That answer settled like ice. Min-jae looked directly at Jasmine. Come here. She didn't move. I said come here. The command hit harder than shouting. She stepped closer before realizing she had obeyed. He caught her wrist, not rough, but firm. If they get in first, he said quietly, they take you. Why? Because they think I care. The words stunned her. You don't even know me. His gaze sharpened. That has never stopped people from using weakness. Another violent slam. The lock cracked. Daehyun spoke fast. 30 seconds. The younger guard grabbed a chair and jammed it beneath the handle. Min-jae released Jasmine and pointed toward the rear wall. There's a private exit behind that panel. The doctor blinked. There is. Min-jae looked disgusted. This hospital charges enough. Daehyun almost smiled. Almost. He pressed a hidden latch near the wall art. A narrow door slid open. Dark passageway. Service corridor. Jasmine stared. This is insane. No, Min-jae said. This is normal. The younger guard moved toward her. Inside. Now. She hesitated. The front door split at the frame. Hands reached through. Weapons visible. Shouting in Korean. The nurse screamed. That ended hesitation. Jasmine ran toward the hidden passage. Daehyun and the younger guard lifted Min-jae from the bed despite his clear hatred of needing help. Pain crossed his face once, then vanished. He refused to give it more time than that. As they moved toward the secret exit, gunfire exploded through the broken doorway. Glass shattered. Lights burst. The room descended into chaos. Jasmine stumbled into the dark corridor. Behind her, Min-jae's voice came cold and steady through the smoke. Leave one alive. The hidden door slammed shut behind them. Darkness swallowed the corridor. Then Jasmine heard footsteps ahead. Not theirs. Someone was already waiting inside. Everyone stopped at once. Daehyun raised his weapon instantly, body shifting in front of Min-jae without needing instruction. The younger guard moved to Jasmine's side, not gently, but fast enough to block her from the center line. The corridor was narrow, concrete-walled, lit only by faint emergency strips near the floor. Every sound echoed harder than it should have. Footsteps continued. Slow, measured, confident. A figure emerged from the dark. Male, mid-50s, hospital maintenance uniform, gray hair, hands raised calmly. Easy, the man said. The younger guard didn't lower his gun. Name, Mr. Han. Daehyun's eyes narrowed. That means nothing. The older man looked directly at Min-jae. It should. Something changed in Min-jae's face. Recognition. Small. Real. Still alive, Min-jae said. Mr. Han gave the faintest smile. Annoyingly. Jasmine looked between them. You know him? Min-jae didn't answer her. Instead, he spoke to the older man. How compromised? Front exits blocked. East stairwell bought. Security divided. Ambulance bay watched. Daehyun cursed quietly. Mr. Han's gaze moved to Jasmine. Then back to Min-jae. So it's true. Min-jae's expression hardened. Careful. Mr. Han nodded once. He understood the warning. No more questions. Follow me, he said. He turned and moved deeper into the corridor. No one argued. Because right now, trust was thinner than air. But options were thinner. They moved fast. Jasmine tried to keep pace, heart hammering as the narrow tunnel twisted beneath the hospital like a hidden second world. She looked at Min-jae. Even injured, even half-supported by two men. He carried himself like he was leading the movement instead of surviving it. That kind of control unsettled her more than the guns. How many enemies do you have? She asked breathlessly. Min-jae glanced at her. Enough. That is not an answer. It's the only one you need tonight. Mr. Han stopped at a steel service door and entered a code. The lock clicked. The door opened into an underground loading bay. Two black vehicles waited. Engines running. Drivers ready. Daehyun scanned everything before allowing movement. Clear. The younger guard opened the rear door of the first SUV. Min-jae looked at Jasmine. In. She stared. You keep giving orders like I belong to you. No, he said calmly. I'm giving orders like people are trying to kill you. That is because of you. That distinction won't save you. She hated that he was right. Mr. Han stepped closer. If they find her first, they'll use her. Jasmine turned sharply. I'm standing right here. And alive, Mr. Han replied. Try to stay interested in that. She got into the SUV. Not because she trusted them. Because bullets were persuasive. Min-jae entered beside her. Dae-hyun took the front passenger seat. The younger guard entered the second vehicle behind them. Doors slammed. The convoy moved. As they drove into the Seoul night, Jasmine watched city lights streak across the windows. Ordinary people still walked sidewalks. Restaurants were open. Couples laughed under neon signs. The world outside continued normally. Inside the car, nothing was normal. Min-jae closed his eyes briefly. Pain showed for 1 second, then vanished again. You should be in a hospital bed, Jasmine said. I was. That is not what I meant. I know. She looked at him. You nearly died. I didn't. That is not what I meant. I know. She looked at him. You nearly died. I didn't. You were dying. He opened his eyes. And now I'm not. That was all he gave her. The silence after it was sharp. She turned toward the window. You don't thank people, do you? Min-jae's voice came low. Thank you. She looked back, surprised. He hadn't moved, hadn't changed expression, but he had said it. Then he added, You'll probably regret helping me. The honesty of that disturbed her more than arrogance would have. The gates appeared 20 minutes later. Tall, black steel, private road, armed cameras. The estate beyond them stretched wide and silent under the night sky. The SUV entered without stopping. Jasmine stared. This is your house. No, it's one of them. That answer told her everything she needed to know about the scale of his world. The mansion rose ahead, modern stone and glass, severe lines, security hidden in elegance. Doors opened before the car fully stopped. Staff lined the entrance. Doctors, house personnel, guards, prepared. Min-jae stepped out first, refusing help this time. He nearly staggered once. No one reacted. No one would dare acknowledge weakness. Jasmine exited slowly behind him. Immediately, every eye on the grounds moved to her. She felt it like heat. Who is she? Why is she here? Why did he bring her? A woman in a fitted black suit approached and bowed slightly. Sir, medical room prepared. Min-jae nodded. Good. Then pointed at Jasmine. Guest wing. 3rd floor. Jasmine frowned. I'm not staying here. He turned to her fully now. You are. For how long? Until I decide it's safe. That is not your decision. It became mine when they came for you. She stepped closer despite herself. You don't own me. His eyes lowered slightly. No. Then colder. But I control this house. That landed like a locked door. The woman in black stepped beside Jasmine politely. This way, miss. I said no. The woman didn't blink. Please don't make the guards assist. Jasmine looked around. 3 guards nearby. Still. Ready. She laughed once. No humor in it. This is kidnapping with better furniture. Min-jae started walking toward the interior hall. Call it protection. She raised her voice after him. I call it prison. He stopped without turning. Then said quietly, Good. That means you understand. And kept walking. The 3rd floor room was beautiful. Large windows. Private bath. Expensive furniture. Fresh clothes arranged neatly on the bed. Fruit. Tea. Luxury. And bars hidden within the window design. Jasmine walked to the glass immediately. Looked down. Too high. Security below. Perimeter lights. Guards rotating in timed patterns. This wasn't a guest room. It was a cage designed by rich people. The woman in black stood at the door. My name is Madame Seo. If you need anything, ask. I need to leave. That is not available. The door closed softly behind her. Locked. Jasmine tested it. Of course. Locked. She paced once, then twice, then stopped. On the bedside table sat a framed photograph. She picked it up. Min-jae, younger, beside an older man. His father, maybe. And in the blurred corner background, a child, dark-skinned, small, out of focus. Jasmine's breath caught. The room suddenly felt colder. A knock came at the door. Then Min-jae's voice from outside. Calm. Controlled. Too close. Open it, she said. It only opens from my side. Then come in. The lock clicked. He entered alone. Fresh bandage beneath a dark shirt now. Looking less like a patient and more like what everyone feared. She held up the frame. Why is there another picture? His eyes moved to it. Then to her. Because you were here before. She shook her head immediately. I have never seen this place. Maybe not as Jasmine. The words hit hard. What does that mean? He stepped closer. Not threatening. Worse. Certain. It means someone took you from my world. And now you're back. Jasmine stepped backward slowly. No. Min-jae's gaze never left hers. Then he said the one sentence that changed everything. Your real name isn't Jasmine. If this episode shocked you, don't leave now. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in episode 3, min-jae reveals the truth about Jasmine's identity. Hidden files are opened, and the enemies outside his mansion want her back. Stay with Afro-Korean Story Vault, because the Real story begins next.